What's up, guys? Welcome. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. How are you guys doing? Welcome everyone to another live stream. It's Saturday and usually, as you know, we go through the weekly market analysis, right? So pay attention to what may happen next week, starting to look for good levels to take advantage of next week. So we usually cover FX pairs, starting with the dollar index. Then we go through indices, US, S&P, NASDAQ, maybe Dow Jones, DAX as well in there. And then we go individually into each currency pair. And then we finish a little bit with we go over also oil and gold and finishing with Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's a little bit the assets that we pay attention to. So feel free to join, feel free to ask questions, feel free to mention any comments, any zones that you are looking for next week. Yeah, let's look at those levels together. All right, so dollar, right? So last week, interesting move in particular after Thursday, after the Bank of England decided to go a little bit more and hike by 50 basis points and not only 25 basis points, since the inflation in the UK is it's not getting better. The core CPI is actually still increasing at this pace at this moment. So yeah, the Bank of England didn't really have much to any other alternative, and they hiked by 50 basis points. And we had a turn in the market around that moment on Thursday, around 12:30 p.m. So that's basically what we had in here, right? So we continue to move to the downside. The Friday before that, we kind of had a little bit of a move to the upside. We spent a little bit of the week like that. All of a sudden, Wednesday, if not mistaken, we moved to the downside. And then on Thursday, we kind of turn all the way through. We managed to break slightly this low in here. And that one as well, kind of reacting a little bit from a zone in there. And now we are basically reacting from the next fresh level that was still fresh as price was moving down, right? So this supply level, it was still fresh, and this put us a little bit in the middle to find out what the dollar is going to do next. First and foremost, is this low enough in here to now from here push price to the upside, or does price wants to go a little bit more to the downside before maybe making any attempt to continue to move higher, right? Then you need to also start asking questions even about this high as well. If this high is even good enough to from here to kind of maybe push price and create new lows from here, right? So there's a little bit of indecisions in here. Again, if you remember from the previous live streams, I mentioned that I would actually prefer the dollar to go a little bit higher. In regards to this high, price never really moved all the way there. Paying attention also that we actually have kind of a double bottom in here, so eventually this is going to be taken. But there's maybe still something in here that price could use to push price to the upside. So yeah, not so clear at this point, so kind of playing a little bit zone by zone. Now the ranges, all of a sudden, yes, how this is compressed, right? Price is getting there. Maybe this is going to be one of the zones. So this could be one of those levels that price could maybe respect and continue to move to downside. Eventually now take these lows and eventually maybe getting a little bit closer to there. On the other hand, this one that takes this level and also takes that level in there. This is kind of a decision point after price breaking out the structure, right? This is kind of where the decision is to move to the upside. So yeah, so maybe we can have actually a deeper retrace in here. Two levels that I was looking for on the dollar can actually remove this trend line. In terms of while price was moving to the downside, there were maybe two zones that were fresh behind, right? So maybe one of them was maybe this one, that this high is kind of missed it a little bit. Maybe all this in here. Aside from that, everything seems to be taken all the way until there. And then as price kind of start to move down, this was kind of where the next imbalance occurred. And price never really retraced to this level. right, in a little bit in alignment with that zone as well. In here, everything has been taken, but then yeah, we started to create this level, and this is basically where price is reacting from now, right? So yeah, if we do start breaking above that level, we may aim to go much higher. We may have a little bit of a reaction in here, but maybe just until this level, and then we may go higher, right? So this high in here kind of it kind of matters at this point. Looking on the other side is we do have this previous level of supply that was completely broken on the way up, so this can also help a little bit, or used or be worked a little bit as a level of support, kind of maybe demand zone also inside here, maybe on the world time frame that may be demand in there, and then of course the origin in here. And since we already had kind of this left shoulder in here, that was kind of fake out, so you can have a little bit of manipulation of liquidity that was already collected in there. So yeah, let's see exactly what the dollar is going to do. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to open next Monday. All right, so yes, maybe this is a little bit of the demand in there. Kind of this was actually taken a little bit. There's maybe some left shoulder in there. This is actually maybe the supply, the last supply of this move to downside is something that we can start diving into a little bit more into the world time frame. Yeah, okay, maybe there's actually something in here in alignment with this demand zone. Can be interesting, right? If this level kind of keeps holding price up, maybe can continue to move to the upside. If by any chance price breaks below this level, it may go a little bit lower. You can even retest this level again. You can see price never really got there in here, so we may even can do something like this and drop. We'll see. We will see what's going to happen. But this level in here, it can hold price. Now we have actually even this lows in here that can be used eventually to then do something like that. So that's just something to keep an eye on the dollar for next week. It's kind of a zone that has been working as support resistance for a few times in here. I can see how many times kind of price has been already just recently, or maybe even actually if I extend it more to the left, there's maybe more in there. Yeah, but this is just something to keep an eye on. Again, if we start breaking above it, we may get a little bit closer to the upside. Yeah, literally question mark is this low in here the end of it, or again it's just another engulf down below this level, and this is kind of just a retracement before maybe with price resuming and maybe getting closer to this demand in here that is still a little bit fresh, and where actually this momentum started and price never really got there. So that's just something to keep an eye on. I think I wouldn't mind at all to see price kind of resuming a little bit more to move to downside and getting closer to this level before maybe making a move higher. Yeah, but I'm aware that this can hold price, so I'm going to be managing my expectations, which is important in here. Is about managing our expectations in regards to what opportunities are there. Like if your bias is not that strong, if you see that price could maybe go up or down, yeah, maybe it's time to be more conservative with your own targets in case you take any trades in between these levels, instead of just always looking for home runs every time you aim or you attempt to take a trade. This is dollar index, a little bit of what you are looking at in here. Right, so good reaction from this level. I get a little bit of a spike in here, some left shoulders, so that's done. Is there even anything a little bit more at the extreme, or price has reacted from there? Maybe this high has already really got there, or a little bit more at the extreme in here. Yeah, it's just something to keep an eye on. For now, kind of price reacted from the base of this level. It's basically where it reacted from. Yes, perhaps. Like you can see that this left shoulder, this high in here already reacted from the left shoulder on the left. Alright, basically this one reacted from this one, so that it's a little bit, there's not exactly any more orders in there. Yeah, the question mark is there anything a little bit higher in here that price could maybe react from before pushing price down, or just from here? Yeah, we'll see on dollar index. All right, so yeah, this is just something to keep an eye on. For example, at the bottom, this was maybe a good zone. Like, yeah, unfortunately, euro didn't react as much. That's where I missed my short on euro. Euro kind of just reacted from the support resistance. It didn't really reacted from the supply inside there. And these guys went a little bit deeper and actually reacted from it. This was during the unemployment claims when it happened, this kind of spike at 130. Yeah, euro which we just reacted basically from the SR of that of the wall, as we have seen a bit. This was the decision during the during the Bank of England. Right, and yeah, this is a little bit of a surprise, and that can be one of those catalysts that can create a new trend. That can be the beginning of a new trend. Right, and basically price has been reacting in alignment when it reversed around that moment. So yeah, this is the VAR index. Moving on to the US indices. So we had a negative week. Finally, it has been a while since we had kind of a negative week in here. Just 1 second, guys. Enjoy my coffee. So yes, we are reacting from somewhere in there, right? So is this the high? Is this going to be the high in the on the S&P? Most likely not, right? Most likely it's not going to be the high. Most likely eventually we're going to create new highs in here. The way price has been moving to the downside, as you can see, this strong compression down, right? On the other hand, we haven't really broken a high just yet. I think this one kind of survived in there, so we haven't really broken a high. However, any move to downside has been a deep retracement has happened after that. So basically every single order that has been left behind has been collected, right? So it's been taken from there, and eventually that can lead to a strong move. Eventually when you go and fill this price, it may happen quite quickly, right? You can maybe with the help of some kind of news that is going to create this big move to the upside. Now we did manage to break below this level. I'm still looking for price maybe to get closer to this 4,326.25, right? This is the level of that high that we broke from August last year, right? This high, right? The retest of this level in here can be maybe, or can work a little bit as a good zone to maybe continue this bullish momentum that we have since beginning of the year, basically, which is a little bit of this support resistance, right? So what we are looking at in here is that these lows, for example, they never reacted from the demand that's kind of created in here. It's at the extreme, or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, you can actually extend it a little bit more further down, but it's somewhere in there, also in alignment with this high in here and with a high from the left. So yes, these guys never reacted from here, basically left this one behind. This was a FOMC 10 days ago. So yes, eventually we might break below this level, or make it look like it's working. We could even break above this trend line first. That would be actually quite interesting, or starting to break above these highs in here, just to start showing a little bit of bullishness for then to make one last attempt down. Now take the orders from maybe this double bottom that's going to be created in here, come all the way down, do this, and now you can move and maybe quite quickly, especially after the second break of the whatever high is going to be created in here. This is when maybe there's going to be the momentum to go all the way to fill this range, right? To fill this compression that we have in here. So I wouldn't be surprised actually if this would happen, right? It would be actually quite interesting, right? Because it would caught people on the wrong side on quite a few times, right? First of all, you're going to start being bullish after maybe you see this trend line being broken and some highs being broken. So you most likely are going to either try to trade at the trend line in here, on the test of trend line to the upside, or going to try to trade this double, in this case then almost triple bottom. They're going to be bullish. All of a sudden the price breaks these lows and they are going to change direction straight away, going to start being bearish, right? Because we just see price breaking new lows. And then all of a sudden price finally reacts from support resistance. At this point, when price creates all this structure, everyone forgets that actually the good level of support resistance is actually a little bit underneath and it's still fresh. So yes, as soon as you see this one being broken, you are going to become bearish and maybe hoping for something like this. So you get on the wrong side again. All of a sudden you start breaking a little bit structure. These people are still bearish again. They're still looking for the retest of this previous high and go down. And all of a sudden what happens is actually price now is ready to go higher, right? So there's most likely there could be an opportunity to try to go along. Maybe in here if you find anything, any good reason, or maybe somewhere in there, or then maybe after the break of this high again, there's maybe, and this is going to be quite quickly because this tends to be then quite quickly, and where the momentum kicks in to then fill out the rest of the compression that is in here. Right, that's just an idea of how price can react around this level. And if by any chance this level is actually about to work. On the other hand, from here, are we expecting new highs? Perhaps, or price may just react actually from something in here that is still a little bit fresh in here, right? Price hasn't really reacted from there just yet. None of these highs reacted from there, so expect some kind of reaction somewhere in here to the downside. Now, is price then going to resume the move down from here? Again, we still need to find out what how price is going to eventually fill this price. In order to see if it's actually a good level, even also where actually the low is going to react to. Like but for example, if the low just reacts from here and goes higher, I will still be bearish most likely. Maybe I would aim to look for a short in here until price actually gets closer to this level. If by any chance, for example, this low doesn't really react from this level, it actually breaks below maybe this structure in here, maybe that can open the door for a move further down, and maybe you can aim for a sell from here and to fill whatever space is available next, or price will just fake out one time and then make that move. So this is just something that we can pay attention to as price is evolving in order to try to find out where is the space. Like that's most basically the question that you're trying to answer is where is the space available and where this price actually wants to go to. Again, we can even try to find out where is this high actually reacting to on the left side. Maybe there's a better zone just above it, and that's actually maybe where price wants to eventually go and react from before making all this massive move to downside. Right? So again, be aware of it, do your analysis to try to find out and be most prepared in advance as possible. So this is S&P, basically what we have. There are maybe some good opportunities to sell along the way. Yeah, perhaps there were, but at this point, maybe one of the targets is going to be somewhere in here, right? So even if price breaks in here, that's another mistake that many people do, is actually they start being bearish after they see kind of a higher time frame low being broken. This is kind of when they get bearish. Meanwhile, price has already been bearish for a full week. So if price kind of starts breaking some lows, maybe there's time to have some kind of retracement before maybe resuming, right? All of a sudden they are getting bearish when price is already too cheap. And then of course you're going to be caught on the wrong side of the move because price actually is about to retrace at this point. And then yes, but then when price starts getting close to the highs, this is you start being bullish again, because now you start seeing price getting maybe about to break the highs, and this is actually the moment to maybe start being bearish, right? So again, that's just another mistake that many people do in here. They take time to react to actually what's happening, and then they start making, or they start acting way too late when the move is already gone in here. So NASDAQ. Right, what we have on NASDAQ, right? So NASDAQ, as we know, it finally fake out all these highs in here back in February and then end of March last year. So that's a really beautiful zone to expect some kind of a little bit of a correction on NASDAQ. Meanwhile, we kind of have similar move comparing with the S&P in terms of still reacting closer to these lows that were created 10 days ago or so, right? NASDAQ actually offered a beautiful trade in there to look for a short. It was actually a big miss in there. It would have been a great risk reward opportunity, which we broke these lows already. We started to break new lows in here as well. We had the fake out, we created this range, price broke below. Yeah, around in the morning, this could have been a great short. Similar to S&P, we may have this level of structure that can attract price to go to. Now the zone on S&P, to be honest, it's a little bit more, I see it as a stronger one, that support resistance looks a little bit stronger than this level itself on NASDAQ. That may work both ways. Now NASDAQ just fake out that level, right? So NASDAQ, I'll be okay if price actually could make a deeper retracement from here. S&P, I think we may go a little bit higher, or kind of make one extra high before making that move. So just something to keep an eye on. Is there something in here at the highs that price can still use? Maybe above this high, is there something in here that maybe you can use, right? This high is never reacted from the zone itself. Like we have all this accumulation of highs that price can eventually fake out, get a little bit closer to that zone. That's kind of fresh yet. Yes. So price kind of reacted from this level. This was the zone itself. Kind of price already reacted from there again on Friday. It's just a curiosity on NASDAQ, if you haven't paid attention to, is it's about Thursdays, right? So it has been maybe the 5th Thursday in a row that the price moved to the upside. Like, so if you compare where like the last Thursdays, end of May, where it is Wednesday, there you go, Thursday moving to the upside, right? So made this move. Wednesday, Thursday, right? And now the Thursday upwards, not so strong. It was the biggest move. It was actually then on Friday. Then in here, Thursday, right? Wednesday, Thursday up to the upside again. Thursday to the upside, and you keep going again. Thursday move to the upside after FOMC. Thursday to the upside, and now another Thursday to the upside. So it has been quite a coincidence on Thursdays, where maybe Tuesdays and Wednesdays is price moving a little bit down, and Thursdays, even though we had a negative week, finally, right? It was finally with a proper bearish candle, even though it was not as big as the previous week. But as you can see, we have been basically all with the bullish wicks in bullish candles in here, maybe just two kind of almost a break-even candle in there. Yeah, so it has been almost since end of April that we have been in this bullish momentum on NASDAQ. Price may go still there, right? So there's still the chance of price even can go there, and then we'll see as we start getting closer to the all-time highs, it's get trickier. Hey man, Bridgeamo, sorry man if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, man. Maybe Bridge? Can I call you Bridge? How are you doing, man? Yeah, so this is a little bit just on NASDAQ. So let's go down into what happened and the opportunities that we're having here. It can be quite similar to the S&P move. Crab Crusher. Okay. Crab Crusher. Fair enough. Yeah, so let's see, right? If it's going to resume to move a little bit more to the upside or not. If the AI enthusiasm is going to resume again and push the indices to the upside or not, or kind of it's starting to kick in this the reality that the Fed may rise the interest rates again twice until the end of the year, right? And that the economy may start to slow down a little bit because of that. So we'll see what exactly is going to happen on on NASDAQ. But yes, interesting moves during the week. We are in this range again. I'm expecting eventually for this was to be taken, maybe getting closer to this level, and then we may start looking a little bit farther down than that, maybe all the way until this the below that we have in here. For now, the range. First, I will pay attention to this previous support resistance, and then if it continues to break below it, then it can continue to move farther down. Meanwhile, yes, there may be something at the highs that can still be used, and price can still go there, and yeah, and use something in there. On the other side, we have this previous levels, this range in here now. That price event you can also fake out in there. How are you doing, man? What pairs do you trade, or what assets do you trade? Yeah, let's take a look at Dow. Like Dow has been in this move to the downside as well, quite compressed. The way it is moving, no, it hasn't broken any high, so that's fair enough. They actually broke into this level. It's getting into this compression zone. So yeah, expecting a very weak price to get a very to the extreme, getting really close to there. Eventually, we can even break this wall and getting closer to this maybe demand zone in here before maybe retracing. I will be expecting eventually for price to maybe break above this trend line or some kind of highs and maybe push price higher, and maybe getting closer again in here before any big sell-off. Like something that could be interesting. If by any chance price retraces from here, I will still consider that price may wants to go down. Okay, let me just see this. Yeah, is this a valid zone? Maybe. Just check on our time frame. Per hour. Yeah, I think I prefer to see price going a little bit further down. If by any chance if price retraces from here, I'm still going to be looking for sales. Maybe I'm expecting price then to react from here to look further down. If price breaks this low without really reacting from here, price just makes a small break in there. If it retraces, that's going to be again looking further down. I think there's still orders in here. I think this size kind of paused a little bit in the middle. Again, the approach is going to matter, right? If price just goes ballistic to the upside, maybe I'm not going to do or look for shorts. But if price kind of slows down a little bit, start breaking lows on the way up, kind of pauses a little bit, starts showing bearishness, then kind of makes that fast move, that can be even a stronger reason to look for the sales. So interesting in here on the Dow, it went all the way to test this left shoulder that was still fresh. This high never really reacted from there. So yeah, interesting. Meanwhile, can even start targeting eventually these lows in there. Then you have DAX. Like it took out another high. Unfortunately, never really retraced to the left shoulders in there, so that's still fresh. And meanwhile, it just moved to downside, retesting now back to these lows and to these left shoulders created in here. That's a little bit of what we have at this point. So made out the move again, and it kind of starting to yeah, kind of almost in this range, right? Slightly new highs, but also slightly new lows. So let's see which side eventually is going to move towards to. Again, the economy in the Eurozone starts not to look so pretty in there, so we'll see. Yeah, that's basically for the indices. We had a chat on Discord, man. Yeah, maybe I need to review it, man. Maybe it has been a long time. I need to review it. Most likely you had it. It has been many people now. Yeah, it's something that I need to review. So you trade you trade gold. Yeah, sorry, man. I need to review it. Or text me again on Discord just to remember, man. Yeah, just text me on Discord again. Okay, Euro Index, right? So there you go. We made all this move to the upside, and you are retesting the highs again in there. So we'll see what's going to happen. We managed to break a little bit the lows. Yesterday's short on the euro, especially in euro pairs, around the PMI data around the London Open, that was could have been in confluence with price retesting these highs again and kind of breaking a little bit down. So you could have used this confluence with the euro index, expecting price to maybe fill at least this space all the way until these lows. So that's something that we can always use with the indices. Right now that is retesting these highs. Is price going to fake out these highs and getting a little bit higher? I think that can be possible. Again, just the way that price moved quite quickly, even though we kind of fake out or broke slightly that low, this double low, it may kind of create too much attraction, and you may have actually that fake out. Price at this point is reacting from this level. I think this level in here can be quite interesting. I think price can actually target this high, go above that high, maybe react from there until we finally have a good move to downside on the euro index, right? Just something to keep an eye on. Now, one side of it is that, in my opinion, we kind of had an engulf down in here, so that starts opening a little bit more room to the downside. Now, question mark it will be, is it going to react from this level, or are you going to have an extra fake out before maybe making all that move, and then you can start targeting even below this low, right? So eventually we are going to have another good opportunity to look for sales on the euro. Question mark, is it going to be from here, or if you're going to have that extra fake out, which can actually happen maybe above these highs. There's maybe some reaction to expect from this low in here above the highs. Again, maybe if I would go into the lower time frame, maybe there's something in there that I could look at. I don't really think I'll this one. I'm not sure if I would have data to go all the way here on the lower time frame. This is back in 10th of June 2021. 14th of June in this case. Yeah, maybe first reaction from taking these highs from there, and then eventually can slowly going into the extreme, into this level in there, maybe push price down. This is kind of where price broke a little bit this structure that created this one and kind of navigated to the downside. So it's kind of a swap zone in there. We'll see what's going to happen on the euro index, right? But as a first instance, nice reaction, kind of created this double top. Now we may still have, of course, this the supply in here, so price can maybe still react from there. So let's see, maybe if you do find something in there. Again, we don't really trade euro index, it's just based on use it as a correlation. Like, what I'm looking for is, if by any chance if price reacts from this level, it starts moving down, we can maybe look for shorts on the other euro pairs, not just euro dollar, but the other ones as well, including euro pound, euro Aussie, euro CAD, euro yen maybe, and so on, right? So, but yes, we did manage to break below this low. Yeah, so this is where we have on the euro index. We may go a little bit higher, may pick out these highs, and then maybe we have the move to the downside. The yen, right? What's going on with the yen, right? So basically, we had this kind of a gap in here, which I don't know exactly how did this happen, but we did have this gap over the weekend. Didn't really see the gaps on the individual yen pairs. We've managed to take these highs, and all of a sudden we now close the gap, right? We are reacting from this level now. So are you going to, and this gap is basically created after we just took the low from there, right? So we just fake out the low back in October last year, and now we are here. So is this going to hold these lows? Are you going to create another fake out? Is it going to continue to move to downside? What's going to happen here? That's the question mark that we have. We have seen the dollar yen a little bit more stronger at this point, maybe because of the dollar, right? So we have seen moving a little bit more to the upside. There was a big difference between what the yen index and the dollar yen were doing. So the dollar yen maybe was able to catch up a little bit more, to recover some field. So yes, let's see now what's going to happen in here. If we're going to let a new low, retrace, or just continue to move to downside in here, right? We managed to break slightly this high. This is something to keep an eye on. Like, it's one of the first highs that has actually properly broken from a good level of structure. So this can be seen a little bit as an engulf to the upside in the future. Let's see what's going to happen. Kind of saw to this one, but then it just reacted from this level. I kind of used already this left shoulder in here. So yeah, curious to see what's going to happen in here at the lows on the end. All right, enough with the indices. Let's go back. Let's go to the individual currency pairs. Euro. All right, so again, similar to the dollar index. I actually like where the euro reacted to. It just fake out that level. That's something that we were looking for. Initially, this compression, okay, that was done. Price initially reacted from there, but then this highs in here. It was one of the last zones actually, especially in here on the world time frame that could react from, and then eventually you can even go a little bit higher than that, or eventually even take this highs. But for now, this was a nice zone where actually euro reacted from, right? Because we had these highs, and this high already had actually fake out or kind of broken above it. So this usually it's a nice target. When you do see that price slightly takes the highs and then kind of goes into the opposite direction, whenever price retraces back to those levels, this can be your target. Above this high, this is kind of a zone to keep an eye on. So whatever zone you have above it, that can be one of the zones that the eventual price is going to react from. And this, again, is your target. So we start having that exactly move, right? So we had the move on the euro. We slightly, it was a nice reaction from this IKM in here, from this left shoulder. It should have respected price down. It didn't, kind of reacted from here, move upwards. But it starts to be kind of a zone where it starts breaking lows, and then you have another break of a low, and then you finally have the move on Thursday. Like what I mentioned before is exactly this, right? Unfortunately, euro dollar just reacted from here, and I think I had my kind of my 7 minute in there. I initially missed this move in here. I had my 7 minute a little bit above it, and yeah, yen index, for example, it actually reacted from there. Not yen index, dollar index actually went a little bit deeper to react from a little bit that zone. Euro just reacted from basically support resistance, and that was it. Right? Again, super correlated. Unfortunately for the euro, unfortunately for me, price just pausing here and didn't really go a little bit higher. And there you go. We start missing this move, right? This was a nice compression. Like, as I mentioned so many times, starting to notice break of lows on the way up. That's one of the biggest triggers that you want to find out, especially after the last move. And as I mentioned, we start having a little bit of a few lows being broken as well in here. And all of a sudden you have all the spice towards the next level, right? So this is what we had in here. Now, similar to the dollar, we are kind of reacting from a good zone in here, right? One of the last zones that was still fresh. Below that is maybe all the way to the move down. Now, this move is actually created during the ECB press conference, where actually price is reacting from. This was one of the decision points around the ECB press conference, which kind of mattered. Right, so this was FOMC, and all of a sudden we have ECB is doing kind of the Q&A. In here, it's actually a nice little zone. Like we have this decision in here of price kind of trying to go up, trying to go down. It doesn't, it goes up. Initially, there's a retrace to the base of it, and now it's a little bit more into deep. Even you have this low in here, it can make it a KM zone and kind of goes a little bit more at the extreme of this move. So yeah, it was created around an important zone with a moment, which is the ECB press conference, right? So this can give some importance to the move itself. Meanwhile, we have this reaction, and now price kind of fits in here, right? So let's see how price is going to react around this previous level of support resistance and that zone. If it's going to hold it and continue to move down. Similar story with the dollar index, right? This is going to respect that demand zone and then maybe go higher, and the euro maybe respect this level and then go lower. That's kind of a similar story. So we are kind of trapped in between this level, right? This is when it can be a bit tricky because price reacts from a good level. It kind of reacts maybe from a good level as well in there, and you have this important level of structure that can hold price. So yeah, just literally keep an eye on it in here on the euro. Bigger picture, yeah, if you start going upwards, then you can maybe go above that level. Even if you start looking left, you may still have the aim to go maybe closer to here. You can even fake out this double top before maybe making that big move to the downside, right? So that's something bigger picture that can happen. If by any chance price wants to start moving to downside, same way with the dollar index. I'm not sure if this low is actually kind of the extreme of the extreme. Price may wants to go a little bit closer, further down. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit in the middle of a few zones in here on the euro, but I do like kind of how price reacted from there. And again, it was around an important interest rate decision, which is kind of a little bit the interest rate decision that was a surprise basically during this week. Everyone was expecting the Fed to stay the same, ECB to hike 25 basis points, Japan to stay the same, Switzerland to stay to hike those 25 basis points. Initially, everyone was expecting a 25 basis points in the UK, and it was 50. So that can be one of the differences. Yeah, pound. Right, pound managed to respect the high in here. It's actually reacting from that zone that we mentioned before, right? We had this demand zone that was still fresh, and that was one of the zones in the middle that price could still react from. So it kind of reacted last Friday from there, and now it moved to downside. We kind of engulfed there, and now it retested with the interest rate decision, and now it kind of moved to downside. A little bit of a range yesterday, didn't really move anywhere. I'm looking forward for price maybe to react from here, and then we'll see. Again, if you break below this level, it may open more room to downside. You can even retrace again, maybe closer to these levels. You have all these left shoulders in here, so there's maybe a retracement towards there, maybe then to move price to downside. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. Eventually, we may even aim to go there, right? Maybe price is not going to just stop in there. Now, should we pay attention to these levels and expect some reaction as price is moving upwards? Yes, those are good zones to look for a potential reaction. Is this the final destination in the bigger picture? Maybe not. Maybe price actually still wants to go a little bit there. Maybe price is going to retrace again and then eventually continue and maybe get there before anything else. Like, yeah, just bigger picture and more intraday zones to look for in here. Then you'll see if you can go a little bit more below that, maybe in there, and then you can continue to move farther down. Yes, this one was kind of a big spike, right? It's hard to then identify something in there because it was literally a big spike. Maybe something somewhere in there could be, or even take this size, maybe getting closer a little bit towards there. Yeah, we'll see. Kind of this one was already reacted from, that one there as well. Basically, you can see like almost every high that was created on the left side of the spike eventually is picked up on the way down, right? That's kind of the same spike to become a symmetrical move. Euro pound, it was quite interesting. I did miss the short, the long in here. Nice one. You kind of fake out that, broke above it, and then kind of reacted all the way to the extreme. Maybe there's more room to look for new longs in there. Bigger picture is maybe reacting from an interesting zone. Actually just took this low, so we'll see. Overall, still bearish, maybe, but maybe can aim eventually towards there. Let's see how price is going to react from here. But yes, overall, we may still be bearish in the bigger picture. But there's maybe opportunities in here on intraday to look maybe for price to get again closer to this level, and when price gets there, maybe can aim to look for the short again in here. Aussie has been one of the weakest in regards to the euro, to the dollar. Like basically it was a complete bearish candle, as you can see in here. This is basically the weekly candle. Yeah, it reacted from there on Friday. It started to create the momentum to the downside, and yeah, it was just moving down and moving down and moving down. We got into this compression, right? Everything in here has been compressed, so as expected, price eventually would go to the extreme of it, and then we'll see if it breaks below or not, right? So this is the demand zone, with the last demand zone kind of within this level. A little bit of a reaction from there. Price is starting to slow down a little bit, but I think we may go below this level before any type of retracement to the upside. And the retracement can maybe even just be a retrace all the way maybe towards that level. So it's nice to see price now slowing down a little bit, losing momentum, maybe breaking a high in here, and then eventually we have the retracement towards that level, right? So just something to keep an eye on. Yes, we did manage to break this low. We created the structure within this level, break the low, fake out this level, this one reacted from there, and you have the left shoulder in here, right? Leaving this level in here, or kind of the separation between this zone in here for the future. Whenever price breaks these highs, maybe expect some reaction from here, and then we'll see. And then we will see, right? Without this compression, this is exactly the type of moves that you want to see. We already have even what we have in here, right? So we start having even kind of this low breaking previous lows, and all of a sudden you have the last move. We called zone 4 kind of a move. How this is zone 3 move in here. Yes, so that's kind of a little bit of what we have on the Aussie. Let's see what's going to happen in here. But interesting, right? And if we even consider the Aussie then to the Aussie yen, let's just go Euro Aussie first. So Euro Aussie kind of managed to respect this level, and the same way that the Aussie dollar is moving down, this one's starting to move upwards, right? And maybe aiming to get closer to that zone in here, right? Maybe some reaction to be expected from this level. Price is starting to slow down a little bit. Good retracement to downside, reacted from the demand, slightly break it. So you may get closer to this zone, and maybe there's an opportunity in there beginning of next week. Maybe around the same moment that Aussie dollar may have a little bit of correction to the upside, right? The weekly candle was quite bullish as well, so you may have a little bit of a correction before maybe continue to move down. That's maybe the opportunity that you can have in there. Of course, whatever target it is for now, we still need to break this low, right? But if you start breaking below that low, maybe this one is still fresh, but then we can even aim a little bit more farther down. So just a zone to look at. Then if not, then price may go a little bit higher, even target this double top in there into there, right? This is just something to keep an eye on Euro Aussie. I will be following Euro Aussie and to see some weakness and the potential short in here. What's up, Jack? How are you, man? Good week, huh? Yeah, looking at the Aussie yen, and this is something that we wanted to touch point, right? Because again, the yen pairs have been quite bullish, as you know. The yen index moving down, and we mentioned if you are actually looking for a potential short or reversal on the yen pairs, maybe the Aussie yen, it will be one of them, right? Because Aussie yen is actually reacting from this interesting level of structure. We have dollar yen not exactly reacting from anything important. We had Euro yen reacting from something back in 2008. Pound yen also kind of reacting from something 2016 or something like that, but it's still not exactly maybe the zone where it's going to turn. So if you're looking for any sells in this particular case, maybe on the yen pairs, maybe the Aussie yen, it would have been the one, right? And coincidence or not, that's actually the one that actually moved the most. And this move was, again, because of whatever was happening on the Aussie, more in regards to the Aussie pairs, right? So that was the opportunity. Kind of price reacted a little bit from that level. Price still can go higher. As you can see, just reacting from the demand zone in here, kind of that managed to break out these highs. There's a nice little demand zone in here that actually price now is reacting from. Initially, we broke this low, so we opened doors to go to the next level, which is in here. And at this point, we'll see, right? Price maybe just going to do this. We kind of need now kind of to break a little bit below this level to maybe start actually entering into all this compression that you may have in here. So we'll see. Nevertheless, we still have actually this supply zone in there, since price just reacting a little bit from this previous level. And actually see what left shoulder is actually going to and reacting from in there. Like, and in the lower time frame, there's actually something in here where price reacted from. Yes, but nevertheless, at the highs, there's maybe still something in here to look for some kind of reaction, and we'll see. Like, and eventually, maybe if we actually have that big turn on the yen pairs, which would be the yen index to move to the upside, maybe then we can have this massive move on the yen index, right? But it's important to pay attention and to be picky and select which actually from the one currency, in this case yen, which one should we try to look for a potential opportunity in terms of what you're looking for. So yeah, interesting move on the Aussie yen of this week. My week was a bit quiet, man. I think I told you I didn't even open any trade this week. It has been a while since I didn't open any trade. It's just my energy. I was tired. Something going on, and I didn't really manage to stay focused as I want to be when trading. So yeah, it's just only 1 week off basically. Still paying attention to the market, but just was missing the trades. For example, I missed that on the euro dollar short. Price didn't tag me in. Yeah, this is just an example of what it would be. If I was more focused, I would have cut straight away the short in the beginning without waiting for the retracement, but it is what it is. Next week's going to be better. But overall, the month has been okay. Yeah, dollar yen. What we have dollar yen, like as you can see, like if you are about to short, if you wanted to short any yen pair and if you're thinking about shorting the dollar yen, you would have been in a loss. Like the dollar yen, maybe it was the yen pair to look for a long in this case, right? And if you wanted to get long, if you're thinking about getting long on the Aussie yen, that wouldn't be the best setup because Aussie yen actually went down. Like again, it depends on what you are looking for. In this case, right? So dollar yen, we finally managed to break from this structure in here. We created a little bit of a range in there, but the next zone that we are looking for, it's maybe a little bit in alignment with this previous level of structure. So there's maybe something in here that could make a kind of price could react from and have a little bit of a retracement, or eventually price may get closer to this level, right? And now this level in here, this 145. It's exactly that first level that forced the BOG to intervene last September. Like so, again, as the dollar yen keeps moving like that, the alarm is going to start ringing in the Bank of Japan to start taking action. They're going to start being under pressure in there. As I mentioned, dollar yen this week managed to recover a little bit the gap that it was comparing with the yen index. So we'll see, right? Just to have an idea, yen index is basically already in here, right? We just literally fake out that high, and this is kind of where we are. Dollar yen is still in here, right? There's a big difference if you're looking at the correlation between those two in there. So we'll see if the dollar yen is going to have, 1 second, let me just go back in here to the left. So this is a little bit of what I have in here. This is just a zone that I have, kind of this supply zone in here, kind of 144 in there, maybe above this high. This is something that maybe price could react from. Price basically is in here at this point. Maybe a little bit above that, maybe compression, maybe above this double top as well. Something to look for. Again, this is 1 minute. If you even go to tick charts, maybe even better. But you can see in here the supply, right? I don't even know what happened back in November for this to happen, for this drop to happen. But this is the supply, which is exactly in alignment with that 145 from the previous level that price dropped with intervention, right? So it's really in alignment, a beautiful left shoulder in there. This will just turn it into a massive kind of Quasimodo level if that's about to happen. Now it's starting to become too obvious, this level. I think you asked me that question last week. If a zone is too obvious, are you going to trade it or kind of wait to be faked out, whatever it may be? So yeah, it's too obvious. I think everyone can notice this. So we'll see what kind of manipulation they're going to try to create on approach, because one thing that we can see in here is that there is no highs in here, right? There is absolutely no highs to fake out in here. So they may need to create those highs on the approach. They may create maybe a double top just before making the move. We do have this level of structure in here with this wall as well, so that can be interesting. There's also maybe this demand zone, so there's maybe a zone in there that could be used first. in here, just exactly maybe to create that double top in there, just to finally have then the fake out into there and react from, right? So that's maybe something to a zone to keep an eye on, this 146.5 678 maybe, and the reaction to this level. Yeah, that could be interesting. Like sometimes it's nice to have one zone next to the other, so they can use the zone underneath to kind of accumulate that liquidity, and all of a sudden the spike can happen then to the zone just above it, and then price can finally drop, right? So yeah, that's something that's interesting in there. Which pair do I trade the most? I need to check that now for this year. I know euro dollar pound dollar has been one of those. What else? What else? This year Aussie, I think there was a long time that I didn't open any trades. CAD, I can be obsessive sometimes, and then some other times I don't look at CAD maybe for a month, and then maybe for a couple of weeks I may take quite a few trades on dollar CAD. Dollar yen I haven't done much on it this I don't know, at least these last few months since I remember. Euro yen maybe a little bit. So yeah, yeah, I need to check it. I can tell you that, but it's easy to get it. Just need to check H1 and I'll find out. Yeah, gold every once in a while as well. Starting to trade the indices as well. So I have a few on NASDAQ. Yeah. Okay, so this is dollar yen. We'll see if there's going to be a little bit of a reaction from here. It's still kind of 20 pips away. Yeah, that could be an interesting level to maybe aim a little bit or move down, kind of starting to break a little bit these lows. I kind of react a little bit from the structure, but then eventually can go a little bit closer to this level. Yeah, first and foremost, this previous level support resistance can also hold price. Yep, looking to see price going into there. Yeah, and most recently I started to trade a little bit more, even the little bit minor pairs, euro pound for example, euro CAD, euro Aussie, something that I'm looking for as well, more often. So yeah, I started to add a little bit more of the minors as well. Yeah, euro yen, right? So as you can see, euro yen again, if this was the one that you are looking for a short, yeah, not exactly the right moment, right? Because even if it tries to make an attempt to go down, as it did, for example, yesterday with sell-off on the euro during the PMI data release, it just reacted from the next level of the month, and it's already at the highs. Like in this case, we are kind of reacting from this massive zone on the left, right? It's a bit hard to decide because it's just in here. I cannot really go below the daily time frame. So yep, not really sure what's going on in here. Yeah, actually I have Forex tester, and Forex tester has data until from 2003, even in the war time frame. So actually can, and I should go check on the Forex tester what's going on the end around this period of time in 2008 in the war time frame, just to fine tune some better exactly the levels that I want to try to take advantage of. At this point we are reacting from this size, so it makes it harder a little bit to look for. Kind of reacted from here. This is kind of the base of it. Eventually can go a little bit towards the extreme. Is price going to react from this double top, or kind of from this size? Maybe, or maybe not. Like this was a good short in here. Yeah, was still not at my desk at this point, but yes, we broke the lows, kind of reacted from that level, and kind of have all this compression in here. Yeah, nothing much. Like again, be cautious with the yen pairs until we kind of find the opportunity. Again, pound yen, same story, kind of initially a little bit down, but never really follow through. It just continues to move higher. Even if it creates all this range, eventually actually breaks to the upside. So again, be careful with selling double top, triple tops at this point on the yen. Tendency is still to break to the upside. Now, pound yen, we're starting to get closer to this level of structure, right? After breaking this highs, we're getting closer to this zone. Is this going to be the level where price is going to start having a little bit of a correction, or price eventually is going to continue to go higher, getting maybe closer to this zone in here? So this is just something to keep an eye on. We have children in there. We have level support resistance. Yeah, just keeping an eye on it. Maybe if the pound is about to turn again, maybe we can then fine-tune some opportunities in here on pound yen. Right, we start to create a little bit of a range. That's nice. Maybe some weakness in here before maybe the move down. Right, because it was quite strong, and now it started that compression move. Maybe before the final, maybe for a turn in here. Yeah, just something to keep an eye on pound yen. CAD. Yeah, CAD is one of those. It's in one of those moments that I don't really pay attention to it. So yes, it has been moving down. It's kind of reacting from there. We broke all these lows. In here, it's a typical trend continuation setup. Creates a little bit of a range, spikes above it, left shoulder in there, and then kind of continuation to the downside. We actually broke this low in here, right? So we broke the low, react from kind of that previous level support resistance, and kind of in alignment with these highs, we can try to find your short, especially after break of this. Yeah, expecting new lows in there. Now, meanwhile, we are kind of reacting a little bit from this level. There's more room to the downside, maybe. So let's see what kind of a move we're going to have in here. Eventually, if we break above this level, maybe we can go there. We do have this trend line. Maybe we can help the trend line to see if it's broken in there. Let's see. There's still kind of this supply in here, this demand zone in here at the lows. Maybe that can push price upwards. Yeah, why not? But yeah, wait, it's still not exactly at the best zone on the left, so it may still continue to move down in here. But yeah, it's one of those moments that I'm not really paying attention or too much attention to the dollar CAD. Dollar franc Swiss. Mike, this guy is teasing me. As I mentioned quite a few times in the previous streams, I'm looking for price to get close to this level. Interesting enough, the way kind of price reacted from there, initially kind of from the base of this, and then kind of in there. Again, during the interest rate decision, it was priced, made this spike and move upwards. So it kind of created this structure in here. So let's see. Again, I still want price eventually to get there in order to then maybe look for a long. It's nice even to see that we actually managed to break slightly these highs in here. Bigger picture, as I mentioned, you kind of see it as, come on. Okay, yeah, maybe as an engulf upwards in here. So that's kind of something that I'm looking for. But eventually, I want to see price first getting there. So how is it going to get there? I'm not sure. If it starts getting a little bit higher, I may look for shorts again until kind of price goes there. I want price to take this double low into that kind of demand zone. So yeah, a little bit of zone in here. We may go higher, may get closer to this level, or it just continue to move down. Maybe now I'm at this level. There's something in there to look for in here actually. Yeah, let's see dollar franc Swiss. You hate double bottoms, right? I don't hate them. I don't hate them because now I'm just waiting for them to actually like when they're created, so then I can actually be starting to be ready for them to be faked out. Yeah, because if you actually consider about the double bottom, this looks like a double bottom, right? But is this actually kind of just a normal double bottom, or there's something in here that could actually have told you that this level could actually hold this low? I could think if you just have a proper high, and that's it, and there's nothing in there. Right, but usually with the double bottoms or double tops, they are not created like that, right? There's maybe something around this level, within this high, that can maybe have already created a little bit of a fake out in there, and kind of creates that TM in here. Right, because you can see you already have a little bit of these lows accumulated, that then it's faked out and then kind of leaves a demand zone in there, and that's eventually where that double bottom ends up reacting to. Right, and as you can see in more detail, this low never really reacted from this level, and all of a sudden it's kind of where price tends to go to. Right, so there's a little bit more of a story behind what people may think it's just a simple double top or double bottom in there. Like if it's just literally a spike up and then kind of another one, I don't like those at all. But yeah, but if it is a little bit more of structure, now if you look at them on the 4-hour time frame, they may not look like anything. Right. However, if you start looking at them a little bit more with more detail, that's a different story. And this can help as well to find out which ones may work and which ones may not work. If we are even expecting a double top or bottom to be created in there, or just literally wait for the fake out, and that's it. So yeah, let's see what dollar franc Swiss again, still targeting a little bit further down. Maybe opportunities to look for a sell. Again, the dollar needs to help with whatever movement dollar franc Swiss is going to do. And here we are, gold. So yeah, man. Crab Crusher, are you still there? What's your take on gold? What are you looking for? Gold, like my favorite level would have been there. Price never reacted from there. And then meanwhile, it started to move. It started to move down. I was actually looking for a long somewhere in there, I think. This was yesterday. Price never really retraced there. It was a nice zone in here. It literally feel the move and kind of moved to downside now, so we haven't really broken the highs there. So let's see, you kind of still need a little bit more of a break to the upside to confirm that, otherwise you may just continue to move down and create new lows. We are kind of a little bit now in the middle of this level. Yeah, not my favorite at this point. Is there any structure in here that price can kind of react from? Yeah, not sure. Yeah, this is the extreme of the extreme. If we break below that level, maybe we can go a little bit lower. Gold has been just compressing in here. Interesting that sometimes actually gold has been a little bit in alignment with the dollar, which is quite weird, right? Usually it's inverse correlation. It's actually kind of a little bit in alignment recently. Yeah, we'll see. Is there anything at the lows? Perhaps. Maybe below this level. We can maybe aim to even retest this level in here. That can be interesting. That could be quite interesting to look for on gold. Aside from that, I'm going to be playing just following gold closely, just to see if there's any and until where does it actually wants to go to in there. Because yeah, this level in here, yeah, it's not my favorite. Yeah, but meanwhile, price may do a deep retracement. Again, I still like this level somewhere in there, above all these highs into this zone in here. I kind of still like it. Yeah, just something to look at. Oil, right? Oil, for example, it was another miss opportunity. I was looking for price to get a little bit closer to this level, and price just tanked in here, right? So we start having this zone, again, reacting from the base of it. What do we have in here? Break of a low, and all of a sudden, yeah, I cover it in the beginning, Chuck. Usually I do it in the beginning. Yeah, NASDAQ and S&P. They may go a little bit well. It's actually a nice one to see, maybe an opportunity to look for a long if price actually reacts from the other level. Yeah, I covered that already in the beginning. NASDAQ and S&P. Oil, right? Oil, it was a nice one. But and that's a good opportunity to miss it, right? We are basically again within this range. Right, so as soon as you kind of start trading above these highs, getting a little bit closer to this level, especially because we already broke this low in here and kind of never reacted from the next level, it starts to build up the scenario of another sell opportunity as we get closer to that range or to those highs. Again, I was looking for price to get a little bit higher. Price just tanked from here, right? So that's one of the again kind of a miss in there on oil, and all of a sudden a big crash. And now, again, right, feel the range, ready to go up again, kind of question mark, right? Is price now ready to to fill the range again all the way through, and for how much longer are we going to be navigating in between these basically 66 dollar range until 70, maybe 73, 74 in here, right? I still even like above all these highs. Eventually we can go there. Yeah, so that's a little bit of the opportunities that we have on oil. If you like to trade ranging markets, oil is something that maybe you could be paying attention to at this point. Yeah, so let's see what's going to happen on oil next week. And then, Jack, what's going on crypto, man? What's going on crypto? Right, so something that we have been mentioning for a few weeks now, and during all this retracement, we paid attention to this level as the important zone on Bitcoin. Like, that was one of the zones that we paid attention to. Like, it would be kind of a little bit in alignment with the break of this previous level of resistance that could work a little bit as support. Right, so again, breaking below this low, it could have opened the door for price to go much lower, maybe 21 or whatever. Holding this 25, 24, 25, this level of structure in here, this could be the moment maybe to aim to look for the retest of the highs. Something else that we also mentioned, I don't know if it was last week or where did I mention it. It was that all this move to the upside that we had on during the first quarter of the year, it was all the way until kind of middle of April. It was much stronger than all this retracement that we had during these last 2 months and a half. Right? As you can see, it basically took the same time. However, this retracement may have maybe 50% of the move. Right, 38%, not even 50%. Right, like kind of around 38%. Right, you can see that it took basically the same time just to make half of the, not even half of the move. One of the last points that we mentioned, it was the way price is moving down and the full compression that price was in. Like, just a little bit similar to what we cover a little bit on NASDAQ, but of course not on the S&P, but S&P is just a week of data. This one was months of data, right? Anytime price was moving to the downside, there's that big retracements. Move to the downside, big retracement to the highs. Move to the downside, big retracement, and eventually actually start breaking a highs. Like, even though it's a good level, it's already the first sign of a break of a high. So this is one of the first moments to pay attention to. Again, break of a low, deep retracement, supply is taken. Deep retracement, supply is taken. And eventually, as we mentioned last week as well, yeah, it was which day? Which day is today? 2017. Well, as you mentioned, when this double was created, that could be an interesting zone to maybe again once again to fake out that level, right? And we are still within this level of structure in here, right? So this is data or clues that price starts to tell you, right? Again, the speed of momentum to the upside, it was completely different from the momentum to the downside. Like, there was no speed. Anytime it was down, the buyers were fighting it. Sellers still managed to create new lows. Buyers were fighting it straight away. That's compression, right? So all of a sudden, aside from this supply, and you can actually do that exercise, it's kind of basically the last supply. This has been taken, this has been taken, this has been taken, and you have this size. Maybe this one was still fresh, and then maybe you have this quasi mode in here, which maybe in the future can be retested from. Then taken. This may be a little bit without being taken in here, but then all of a sudden it's taken everything. So yes, maybe something in there it was not taken. In here, maybe this one also it was a little bit not taken, but this one now is taken on the way up in there. So yeah, all of a sudden there's not much zones left to actually hold price to the downside as price is moving down. And it's something to keep an eye on, because then can happen with quite strength and speed as well, when price finally feels this price. Right, basically it took 2 months and a half to go down, it took a week to go up. It's basically what it took. That's called compression, by the way. So yes, now we are retesting again these highs in here, back from May. Yes, this level in here, it was maybe fresh supply still in there, price just reacted from it. Again, go check into the lower time frame where are those levels, and eventually you can even aim to go above these highs, maybe a little bit closer to this zone. And we will see, as soon as we break above this high, that's kind of one of the last structures in there as well that managed to break this level, create these lows. So breaking above this level, that can be quite a bullish signal. Doesn't mean that price will just skyrocket to the moon. Maybe price wants to go all the way. Maybe there's even orders left behind in here. 25. I can start opening a bit with maybe this new range in here. So let's see. And it's actually good if price actually goes up with some consolidation and not just skyrocketing, because if it just skyrockets as well, maybe then the turn can be quite quickly, or can be quite aggressive as well. Yeah, but not like this. Like this is basically price taking every single orders. Create a little bit of momentum with a zone there, go higher, then retrace, create something like this, a little bit more. Yeah, just something similar to this in here. Yeah, so let's see. Meanwhile, yeah, it's reacting from a good zone, as I mentioned, on the left side. Can I go there? Not sure if I can go there. Okay, it's maybe... Where is it reacting from? Yeah, it's kind of reacting from this level. This one in here kind of is been taken out already. And then kind of the extreme it will be kind of 32,000. And then we kind of go above the high. And then we kind of reacting from this 32,890, something like that. So that's kind of a little bit of what we may look for in here. Yeah, meanwhile, of course, this will important, like this demand zone may hold price, or price can react a little bit from there and then kind of move down. Yesterday high was reacting from a level on the daily chart. Yeah, it was this one, right? Yeah, it's reacting from a good zone on the left. I like it. I like the level in there. Meanwhile, on the way up, something that now we can pay attention to is exactly this, right? Where are maybe the zones that maybe price can still use eventually if price retrace a little bit, that can be used again to push price upwards in there, right? This is where everything kind of works the same way. So that was Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little bit weaker in terms of the speed, right? It's kind of a little bit far away from there. Let's see what's going to happen. Maybe a little bit more room to the upside, maybe some reaction from here, but eventually getting closer to that zone in there to see exactly how it's going to react from. Something that you can see on Ethereum is that Ethereum actually already reacted all the way from the extreme of the highs back in May, April, right? Bitcoin kind of initially reacted from here, Ethereum already reacted from there. So Bitcoin now is actually getting closer to this extreme in here, and Ethereum apparently still a little bit lagging and can maybe even just react from this level. So let's see, we actually managed to break kind of this low in this bigger picture. We reacted from the next one, yeah, from the one next to it. So yeah, let's see now what's going to happen around this level in here. Yeah, yeah, let's see if the momentum is going to continue, right? And again, the correlation between Bitcoin and the indices, right? It's not there. Move to downside this week, strong on the indices, strong momentum to the upside on crypto. So yeah, we'll see. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time again, for attending the live. Jack, Crab Cruncher, thank you again for taking the time. Anyone else that is watching as well the recording, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe as well if you haven't done so. Yeah, feel free to comment also, and then I'll reply to you I'll see you next week for another weekly market analysis. Have a good week, guys. It's going to be the end of June, so I hope you guys have a great end of the month, end of the semester, end of the second quarter, and then we start a new semester and a new quarter and so on. So it's time also to define new goals that you want to achieve for the third quarter of the year and also for the remaining second half of this year, right? Yeah, it's time to get serious. Even though it's summertime, it's time to get serious as well. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye bye. Adeus.